good on the community room side?
Mm-hmm.
Are on.
Good afternoon, VV Nation. Welcome to Power Hour this Friday. We got Clay in the background this afternoon. Happy Friday, everybody. It's almost the weekend. The alert will be hitting here in just a moment. So give everyone just a moment to make their way into the room. Today we are dual streaming both in the VectorVest community room and on the VectorVest YouTube channel. So we've got people making their way in on both sides of the aisle here. Now, if you can hear me, if you can see me, just put a VV in the comment section appropriately. Hey, Brian, how are we doing today? We've got Fabio, Dave. Hey, Dave is here. Douglas, we got Lee, Mr. Nolan coming in here with Tesla already. Got stock symbols, right? Ed says, how many of you caught an essay on changing the hold? Interesting. I did not read that essay. I just see in that comment section in the community room here. I'll take a look at that. Hear but not see you and see a VV screen. You should be seeing the VectorVest screen with an empty watch list.
Yeah, I see it on my side, Ryan.
You see it on your side? Okay, so yeah, you should see that here. All right, without further ado, because the stock symbols are already coming in, I see the viewers jumping up. Go ahead and start putting in stock symbols here. I'm going to start with LMT. We got Lockheed Martin. SoFi. We were just talking about SoFi in the mobile stream. AUGO. IESC. Okay, gold. GDX. NPKI. PLTR. INTC. EAT. BBAI. BROS. UAMY. SSRM. Well, lots of stocks coming in here. Reddit. CLS. First Solar. FLSR. We got FLSR. That's FSLR. There we go. But we got it. We got it here. We got NEG. NEG, I'm getting a little nervous on my short here. Look at that $100 level here. It's sitting on my trend line. I'll tell you exactly what I'm looking for when it comes to NEG. SMH. Spot. All right, I got to go back over to the YouTube side here. Let me get some of these stock symbols in here. We got LDOS, ETHE. Oh, wait. ETHE. ALL. ISSC. CMG. Hey, Greg, how are you doing? It has been a long time, hasn't it? Let's see here. Got RKT. Lots of stocks making their way in the list here. Trying to keep up with them all. DDD. BTI. ASML. NVDY. Shop. LYG. Lots of stocks coming in here. App 11 was in a video I did on growth stocks earlier this week. I like App 11. All right. Ethereum Trust. How many stocks? Ooh, 34. We're about to call it a wrap. So if you got a stock symbol, you better get in the comment section sooner than later. SYM. Wolf. All right, we'll stop at 40. 40 should be plenty. God, and burn me out before we leave on a Friday. All right, 3 more stocks. Just need 3 more symbols here. We got GEV. Oracle, last one coming across. Oh, wait. There we go. Got it. All stocks are in. All right, that's it. That's the cutoff, and that's a lot of stocks here. If you don't own any of these stocks, you may have some stocks to put on your shopping list. We'll take a look here in just a moment. Let's see where we can get some value with these positions. I did get APLD in the list. I did get APLD in there. As far as value, ISSC at the top of the list. Look what's number 2. Old Intel up 5% today, coming in at $25.21. $25 looks like it's on a breakout then. I haven't seen it hit 25 in a little while. I'll take a look at that. First Solar, woof. Even though with all the moment, oh wait, why did this revalue? There we go. Let's click on this. Let's see where the value is. All right, undervalued positions. We got Aura Minerals at the top of the list. Allstate, Brinker International, IES Holdings here. A lot of value. Look at this. Aura, for example, currently trading at $28. We valued at $44. Allstate trading at $208. We value at $302. A lot of good stocks here. Let's see what's overvalued in the list. All right, yeah, we got Wolf and we've got BBAI already in the list here. As I scroll down, Newegg, the most overvalued. I'm not too surprised by that. Again, this has been a short squeeze candidate we've been talking about since what was about $20 a couple weeks ago. Here is Wolf, up just 2% today, struggling to stay in positive territory. Symbiotic, also way overvalued. Palantir, right in this list here of overvalued positions, trading at 177 right now, pulling back again today. Down just shy of 2%. We got Big Bear AI up 4% here, coming in at $6. Applied Digital down 2%. I like Big Bear coming off of that 550 level. Let's see, where are the movers today? Positive territory. First Solar showing the most momentum today, up 13%, followed by Intel just above 5%. On top of that, we've got Spotify and UAMY. UAMY, look at that. $4.30. Woo, that stock is rocking. That might be the bag of bags right there. That stock just is not stopping. All right, we've got SSRM Mining up 4% here today as well. But look at the value in UAMY. It is overvalued now. Be careful of that pump. We've got Big Bear AI, way overvalued here, 63 cents. Let's see where the big losers are today. The big one, Newegg, down 23%. Hey, is what it is. I've got a short on there right now. My employee contest portfolio up 24% today from that short on Newegg. I'm short at 117, so I'm still looking at it. We'll see, but I'm holding the short right now. Let's see where our growth stocks are. Stocks with the best earnings growth rate. Reddit at the top of the list. AppLovin, UAMY, Spotify. No surprise why there's a lot of momentum behind these stocks. Look at the RTs here with these stocks. The one with the lowest RT is going to be either AppLovin or Spotify. Just above 1, coming at 1.19 and 1.08. But still, I mean, phenomenal growth rate. Let's scroll down here. Got some zeros. Couple negatives. From Newegg down. Negative growth rate in earnings. That's going to be Newegg, TeraWolf, Applied Digital, Intel, and 3D Systems. Obviously, the ETFs in the middle are going to be zeroed out. All right, let's get into the charts here. All right, Reddit showing continued momentum into today. Just looking at it here. Let's do the 3 and 8 as well. All right, price action staying above that 3-day EMA. So you could see momentum staying there. It's continuing. We've got a nice body on this candlestick. Just hitting another high here. All the forecasted data still continues to rise. Even the value, which has been pretty stagnant lately, we're seeing a pop in the valuation here. That pop went from $36 upwards to $50. So a pretty big jump when it comes to the valuation metrics of Reddit here. But I like the forecasted data, and I like the momentum I see for the bulls here. Nice position. Here is AppLovin. Overvalued. No surprise there. Investors just paying a premium. This is my support level. We got the retest on this. Ideally, the next support probably should come in here, which is exactly where we are. So if we can take out yesterday's upper wick, that might be another entry point on app 11 here, because this momentum, I mean, it's pretty range bound. You can see we're just breaking above that range right now, retesting the prior swing high. I like this, and with value on the rise, even though investors are paying a premium on it, the fundamentals are increasingly getting better. Growth rate 49%, sales growth rate 77%, forecasted EPS on the rise. Not a bad stock. Let's just look at 1 year chart here. A lot of consolidation here. But look at that, we finally got a no swing high. I do like that. So yeah, this would be my support. We're hitting that. Nice bottom wick on it. I like app 11. Here's UAMY. The stock is just going parabolic, currently at 439. Nice big bodied candlestick when it comes to UAMY. This is when I started talking about it, this descending channel. As soon as it broke out, I like this stock. I mean, it has just been rocking and rolling. Look at the growth rate and earnings. Went from negative, now at 48%. Sales growth rate climbing up to 187. And even the earnings per share, nice turnaround story here. Forecasted data went from negative to positive earnings per share, coming in at 10 cents here. Now, the valuation did just drop pretty dramatically here. So that does have me somewhat concerned. But overall, the momentum is for the bulls right now. So just be careful and, protect profits. But overall, I still see it as a long-term hold. Here we've got Spotify Technology, nice lower left, upper right. Overvalued, that's okay. But I don't like this upper wick as of today. The gap up, not seeing a whole lot of continued momentum there. Retracing from those session highs. Forecasted data, pretty mixed bag here. And the earnings per share taking a little drop as of late as well. But earnings growth rate, 40%. Sales growth rate, 16%. Not a bad stock. Play the momentum, and the momentum is in the favor of the bulls right now. You can see the moving averages working their way in favor of the bulls. Fresh buy rating as of today as well. Here we've got SoFi. I like SoFi. Look at that. Nice retest on the 8-day moving average here, showing momentum for the bulls for the short term. Overvalued. It's okay. Here's the channel. Broke above that channel. Broke some resistance. It's just been off to the races ever since. Growth rate and earnings, 39%. Sales growth rate, 31%. And with rising earnings, RT in favorable territory. I like SoFi, and I cannot lie, John. That's a nice chart. A very nice chart. Here is GE Vernova, clean energy company here. All I'm going to say is every time it hits the 20-day EMA, tends to be a good buying opportunity, right? If we get much of a break, obviously get defensive. You can see if it does. If we do get a good break there, it can continue to go down. So if you're in the position, be careful. If we take out today's low, probably get more defensive on it. Let's see. If I use a horizontal line, maybe. No, we're still pretty far from that. Otherwise, if you are not in this position, you're thinking about buying the dip, now wouldn't be the worst time to do it right at that 20-day EMA. We've seen buying opportunities appear here before over the last few months. But just be careful and stay disciplined in case it continues to roll over. But here we've got growth rate and earnings, 34%. Sales growth rate, 11%. Steady Eddie on the EPS forecasted data there. So I like that one. Here is Dutch Bros. This is a retail store. Bill says, close my SoFi October call and started December calls. Oh, okay. You rolled them over. Nice. But here's Bros. Pretty range bound, not much higher than it was, about 8 months ago. Let's zoom into a 3-month time span. I see the pop up. I need to see a little bit more of a pivot here. This would be a nice retest for a pivot. And I see the body forming here, but I need to get a close above 63.56. Right now, we're about 50 cents away from that. So not getting the confirmation I'd like to see. Growth rate and earnings, 33%. Sales growth rate, even with the drop there, just from 28%, nothing crazy. Earnings per share is rising, nice steady stair-step fashion. Just be careful with this position because RT has dipped in unfavorable territory at 0.93. So we need to get back above that 20-day EMA pretty soon, and that might be a good buying opportunity. Now, here's Brinker International. Look at the moving average crossover occurred. 3's above the 8. Price action just tipping above that 20-day EMA. Could be an early entry point on this position on the pullback here. But with value on the rise, I like it. Forecasted data, not too shabby. 33% on the earnings side. 21% on the sales side with rising earnings per share. Here's another great stock to have on your list. Maria, I'm still in UAMY since June 20th. Okay, nice. So that's working out well for you then. Good job, Maria. I'm still optimistic. I think this is going to be only the beginning here. Obviously, you could trade it, but if you're an investor, I'm still thinking this is in early phases. This could be a multi-year position. Again, it's not going to happen overnight, getting off of Chinese dependence of certain materials. Antimony is going to play a role in that. But yeah, I like this. This is a nice pullback, setting up very nicely here. We'll see what happens. Here is Aura Minerals. Just hit a new 3-month high. The momentum is continuing. And look at the valuation. Again, I try not to overthink it. Value on the rise. Price action on the rise. Stock is undervalued. Forecasted data also ticking to the upside here. Growth rate 29%. Sales coming in at 42%. I'm not going to lie. This is a good stock here. It's gold and silver. I've been pretty bullish on gold as of late, and I still am under the impression, having a little bit of exposure to gold. Not a bad play. Not a bad idea at all. Here is IESC. Again, approaching that 20-day EMA. Before, it has been good buying opportunities, but just be careful because the body of this is more under the 20-day EMA, more of a break rather than a retest. See, these are more retest pivots. You got the wick right on the line. The body stays above the 20-day EMA. Here, the body is below the 20-day EMA. 3 just crossed below the 8. Again, I'm not saying it's the end of the world for the stock, but I do see some bearish pressure here. And as far as a support, maybe right in here, which is kind of where we were, but now we're retesting and kind of breaking that. Yeah, so be careful if you're an IESC. If you're an investor, obviously, stick to your stop. You might have a little bit more wiggle room, but if you're a trader, I'd be a little bit more defensive here. Is this being recorded for us to review again? Yes, it will be recorded, I guess, both on YouTube and in the community room, so you can watch it in both places, Garfield. John says I'm in LRN, looking like it's going to break into new highs soon. LYV went up into new highs. I do like LRN stride. But IESC here, just be careful. Again, the wick is below this, so if we see much more downside momentum, I'd be getting defensive. Protect those profits. Here's ISSC. You can see ISSC here showing some indecision with the upper and lower wick, but mostly the trade is within the body of the candlestick yesterday during the sell-off. So again, I'm going to look for direction, for price action to really get outside this body to get a sense of direction here. The sell recommendation has not been given, and I've got a strong level of support here around $12 starting in the zone. Stock's undervalued. Growth rate's on the rise. All the forecasted data is on the rise. 29%, 104. Man. It's hard to say. I mean, this might be a dip to be tempted. I'd want to get a couple more candlesticks before I make any more, any decisions, but this could be a potential dip you want to have on your radar. Sergio says, I've been making a killing in Newegg, bought in at $18. Nice, Sergio. I think that's right around the time I did the video. Did I help put you on Neg, or did you find out about it? Because I just looked up, some of the highest short candidate stocks, and I like that chart and just the story behind it. John says, wow, this AS looks great, but earnings are next week. Be careful buying a stock before earnings. I would usually do a buy right. Here's Shopify. Look, we've entered the body. The three's rolling over here. I mean, I would definitely be protecting profits. I don't know where you bought it at, but see here, horizontal line. Could retest the 20. Where is that 20? About midway. See what it does here at the 20. Oh, is that 138, just a couple dollars away? If not, we got a strong level of support here to close that gap. It might be what the stock needs to do. We'll see. Bought in like 2 days before video, but was very helpful. Excellent, sir. Hey, then you lucked out, Sergio. Nice call. Nice call. I guess we were both looking for short candidates around that time period. All right, but this position here, I mean, forecasted data is great. It's Shopify. It's overvalued right now. Now, what I would like to do, it might drop, break this, because this line is matching up with this gap fill. I don't know. I'm going to be a little bit more bearish on Shopify. I think it's got a little bit more of a pullback before we find a pivot here. Here's SSRM Mining Company, gold and silver. Again, gold's been hot. You can see it in the stock here, diverging away from the 20-day EMA. Momentum picking up. Stock's undervalued, though. We value the company, $22. Growth rate and earnings, 29%. Sergio says, I think your video was a little over 21. Okay, yeah, I think it was around $20, $21, somewhere in that. Sounds about right. Earnings per share. Look at a little bit of turnaround story in the earnings per share, though. Went from negative to positive, sitting at 119 right now. Earnings, forecasted earnings per share, also on the rise. This is a nice stock. I mean, gold stocks you can be picky about because a lot of these gold stocks are undervalued, have great forecasted data. So if you're going to get into gold, I would be very picky on your gold stocks. There's a lot of good candidates out there. Now here we've got CLS, Celestica. Stock showed some value opportunities in the past. Now it's overvalued. More momentum, right? We're seeing a nice retest off this 20-day EMA. Look at this little pivot here. If we get some follow through the next day, maybe get the 3 back above the 8, this could be a dip to buy. A little too early for me right now. But I do like this stock overall. We got growth rate, 28%. Sales growth rate, 21%. Rising earnings per share. Great candidate here. And CLS, you know, we're all probably familiar with CLS. Has been one of the top VST stocks before. Definitely a great stock in general. Palantir. Oh, there's the retest. Look, there we go. I've been looking for that. There's the retest on the channel. And you got the 20-day EMA here. A lot of good reasons to create a new pivot here and create upward momentum. So if we don't get that pivot soon and create some more upward momentum soon, we could be back in this channel. Not necessarily a bad thing, but you know, it is showing weakness in that momentum. So just be careful. But again, I like the setup here. I was waiting on this retest of this channel. I want to see a nice little pivot to follow suit. So if you're holding Palantir, I wouldn't be in a rush to sell it because I'm feeling pretty optimistic on it. Growth rate, 27%. Sales growth rate, 48%. Rising earnings per share here. The only thing I'm not too thrilled about is just the valuation, right? I'm sure you've seen article after article. Palantir, way overvalued. So it's got to have, I mean, we saw the last earnings call. There's high expectations. What's your favorite method for waiting to get back in after a breather? Typically a 20-day EMA or a trend line. I like to find trend lines or 20-day EMA. Depending on how much momentum, might do an 8-day EMA. And just depending on how the stock historically responds to that 8-day EMA. But yeah, usually 20-day EMA. So this pullback here, this little breather in Palantir, this would be what I was looking for. You know, if I see the high here coming in, I'm like, oh, I want to buy Palantir, but not right now. This is the first level I'd look at. Retesting this trend line on the channel, and right below it's a 20-day EMA. So again, lots of reasons to find a pivot here. If it breaks both of these, I'd be getting defensive on Palantir. Ryan, could you please give your thoughts on what is the big difference between the daily moving averages, MA simple, compared to the 20-day EMA exponential? Is one better to use than the other? So, all right. So first, simple. So if I use, a 20-day, for example, right, Bruce? A simple is going to weigh all 20 days the same, right? While exponential weighs the days closer, most recent. So, if we're looking at the last 20 days, the last few days are going to be weighed a lot more than the older days, right? So they're exponentially weighed more. So for simples, I use the 40, 200, sometimes a 20. That's really it. I mostly like exponential weighting averages, 3, 8, and 20, just because I'm more of a trader and they respond better. And typically a lot of stock charts, look pretty nice on a 20-day. You can see this 20-day here, keeping you in the trade for quite a while. Nice retest here. But yeah, so that's the difference really, is just that the exponential are going to weight the days, the most recent days more. So that line is going to be subject to move more based on recent data rather than just an even keel of all the data coming in, right? You can't use the word exponential when defining exponential. Bill, we're not doing that today. We're not doing that today. Bill, how would you define exponential without using the word exponential? And don't even use Chat GPT either, Bill. I know you're going to cheat. Don't be using Chat GPT. But yeah, that's essentially the easiest and simplistic way, is that the data points are going to be, the most recent data points in exponential are going to be weighted more rather than a simple, which is just an even keel over the time period. In this example, a 20-day period. But yeah, here we're seeing a retest, a bounce off of it. Just weakness right now with the trend in general when it comes to this mining company here, this uranium mining company, CCJ. Forecasted data is phenomenal. Strong earnings here. But I'm just seeing weakness in that trend. And honestly, you can see the pressure building up in this position. So maybe look for a breakout. But I'm seeing consolidation in CCJ right now, so we could probably expect some volatility. But yeah, I'd see where this the breakout occurs. Plot both. Should be a obvious which hugs the real data price more. Yeah, which one hugs the real price more? Yeah. But I use both. It just depends on what you're trying to do. I really use just the 40 and 200 just because, especially a lot of stocks, if you're buying on a dip scenario, that 200-day, the 40-day, that could be a good, support resistance levels, good pivot levels to look out for. So just be careful. Let's see. Peter says, where is EMA in parameters? Good question, Peter. So to add a moving average, you actually just right click on price. You go to add moving average and hit exponential. And if you want a moving average on anything, just right click on it. So if I go right click, growth rate and earnings, I can do moving average. If I want moving averages of volume, just right click. So if you like moving averages, just right click on the word price. Thank you, Roxana, for that. Thank you for that. I'm in deep in HNST. Is there a positive outlook? I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but I'm not gonna be too positive on this position here. You're actually approaching new lows. Yeah, I can't get too excited on that. Let's see here. As far as supports, that's where it's going to find the support zone, and we're in this zone right now. I mean, I don't know where you bought it at, but if it drops much below 340, you might have to move on with your life. But again, That is, I don't know your exact situation, but we're in the support zone right now. Just not feeling the stock overall. A lot of bearish pressure. All right, back to CCJ. Again, it's just consolidating right now, getting tight. Look for the breakout. Look for the breakout. Looks like we're getting a little buying pressure on the bottom end of this this trend line here. Here we've got Allstate. Undervalued, greatly undervalued. The stock just not showing much optimism. Now, if we do get a breakout here, I mean, the stock could run quite a bit. We're approaching that breakout. We're not far from it. You know, it's around, what, 213. Right now we're at 208. Might want to put Allstate on your radar. The stock is greatly undervalued. Forecasted data, not terrible. 21%. Sales growth rate, positive 6%. Earnings per share ticking up nicely. But this is a lot of built-up pressure in the stock. I mean, look at it. It's just very range-bound. Let's see if we can get a high and break out of this. This might just pick up some momentum if that happens. Here's Leidos Holdings. Leidos, again, still nice uptrend. Lower left, upper right. Moving averages still in our favor. Values on the rise. Price action overall is on the rise. Forecasted data, both are on the decline, coming in 21 and 3% respectively. The stock has rising earnings. I do like that. As far as this stock here, yeah, that's where it broke above. I'd want it to stay above this 8-day for now. If I want the short-term momentum to continue, it needs to stay above this. I need to see a bottom wick relatively soon, or maybe a nice jump come Monday. Otherwise, it could be pulling back to this 20-day EMA. We've seen several touches on it. Not too concerned about selling it, but not in a rush to buy it right now at that price. Bill, oh, come on, Bill. We're not putting that in the comment section here. All right, here is NPK International. This is an oil company here, petroleum company. You can see down day to day. Looks like a bearish engulfing candlestick could be in the picture. We can get confirmation on that come tomorrow. But look, the stock's undervalued. Values rising. Price action's rising. Forecasted data, not horrible. 21 and 2%. Earnings per share on the rise. I like the stock. Just be careful. This RT starting to slip here. It's at 1.33 now. If you see that get below 1, just know that the bears are starting to take control. Here's Symbiotic Inc. Not doing a whole lot. You can see my cutoff level here. As long as it stays above 47, about 47.91, not going to be too concerned about it. But right now, it looks like the bulls are just trying to keep price action right above that 20-day EMA. Losing ground, though, on that 20-day EMA. We're actually slipping just below it right now. Coming in at 52.73, while currently price action's at 52.55, so about 20 cents lower than that. And on top of that, look at the forecasted data starting to roll over. All of them, even the earnings per share, taking a dip here. Just be careful, but that's going to be my level there. That's the one you want to pay attention to. Here is First Solar. Nice big jump today. Again, look at the retest on the 20-day EMA. Every time it hits that 20-day EMA recently, well, not every time, but more often than not, turns out to be a good accumulation period. Growth rate 20%, sales growth rate 9%. I like it. I like it so far. All right, let's see here. Look, RT's ticking back up. Nice. Here we've got ASML. ASML is pulling back. This is resistance I've seen before around 760. Looks like we're getting rejection of that right now. Pulled back to 743. Growth rate 19%. Sales growth rate 30% here. Great stock to have on your radar. It has relatively been overvalued, but right now getting a pretty fair valued price on it. But still, rising earnings per share. It's ASML. It's one of the big AI players. Here we've got Constellation Energy. A lot of rejection. You can see my resistance zone here. Clear rejection. Break on the 20-day EMA. I would be getting defensive here. There it is. That's the resistance I was looking at for. But yeah, I'd be getting Defensive, definitely protect your profits. I don't know where you bought it at, but if you're trading this, I'm seeing bearish inclinations here. Now here's Oracle. Nice little retest on this 20-day EMA. Might be gearing up for another run here. But look at the growth rate, 15%. Sales growth rate, 11%. Rising earnings per share over the last 12 months. The stock not far from a recent high. But I like this pullback on the 20-day EMA. This is nice. Here's Rocket Labs. Look at the valuation. Even after the big move in Rocket Labs over a little bit, look at the valuation. Nice jump up. We value the stock at $20. Currently trading at $18.66. Forecasted data, not bad. 15% on the earnings side. The sales side coming at 14%. Earnings per share higher than it was 12 months ago. Not a bad stock at all. And I love the fact that this valuation has jumped up like this. Let's get a little bit more here. Yes, Rocket Mortgage. Yeah, Bill, this should be Rocket Mortgage. Brent Welsh, let's talk stocks, Bill. Yeah, Bill, let's talk stocks. I don't want to ruin a Friday with politics. Roxana says, moving forward, will this room stock analysis be including the YouTube stream? So every other Friday, it'll also be on YouTube. So we used to do it every other week on Wednesdays on YouTube. But obviously with Glenn being out, it just makes sense to put the two together since it's just me right now. But yeah, so like next week, it's just going to be the community room. And then the following week, it'll be both. John says, Bill's in the VV stream. I have to go there and give him a hard time. But yeah, we've got customers, VectorVest customers, even watching it. You know, John's over on the YouTube side right now, Bill, in case you're wondering where he was at. But yeah, John, Bill is on the community room side. You can pick on him in there if you want. He'll be in the community room. Are we able to ask questions about Glenn? I don't think I'm going to be addressing too many questions that you may have on that, but we did get an update, and it looks like he will be able to go home rather soon. I think it was supposed to be this week or yesterday, I think the 14th. It did get pushed back to the 20th, but as far as his health, he's still in rehabilitation, working on his strength and, working to get home. So that's his number one priority. I don't know when he's coming back here or whatever, and I'm not going to speculate on that. I just want him to get better. How is his speech? His speech is okay. Again, I need to go see him. It's been about 2 weeks since I've seen him. I'll let you know next time I see him. But the good thing is he's going to be moved closer, because before he was like an hour away. So it wasn't the easiest to get up there, but I had to get up there a couple times. So when he gets back, he lives just a couple exits away, so that'll be much easier. But yes, next time I see him, but he was talking fine. He still had his humor. So he still has his Glenn personality. So that's the important part. He still got his personality. Still got his love. But here's another stock here. Let's get back into it. We got Lloyd's Banking Group. Again, this is a nice steady eddy. Look, lower left, upper right, the valuation outpacing the move here. Forecasted data, both coming in at 11%. Nothing crazy, nothing bad. EPS on the rise. Nice, steady, stair-step fashion. And of course, Roxana, I always want to keep you guys updated since I know, pretty much he built this channel, on YouTube. So I know you guys all care and love for him. And yeah, if there is, if you don't know already, just throwing this out there real quick. If you just go to VectorVest.com/Glenn, you can contribute. We did work with his family to do a GoFundMe. And if you don't want to do that, that's fine. But more importantly, just as important, you can get updates at that page as well. I think there's been 2 updates posted there by his wife. So if you want an update on Glenn or be able to contribute to him and his family going through this tough time, just go to VectorVest.com/Glenn, and the information will be there. And I think it was his wife that made the most recent update. But yeah, so we got LYG. As far as a banking company, this looks good, right? Lower left, upper right, value on the rise, fresh buy rating here. If we use star search, it's even in the upper Bollinger Band, so we are getting momentum in the short term here. Down day to day, so I'm not gonna advocate buying it before the weekend on a down day. Let's see what Monday brings. Here's BBAI. This is the level I was looking for in my video when I did BBAI. And look at the trend line here. Boom, boom, boom. Man, I probably should have played this long in my employee contest portfolio. This looks pretty good, right? We're going to get the challenges real soon here with the 20-day EMA. See if we get back above that. But this was the whole point of my BBAI video. I didn't tell anyone to go out and buy BBAI. So there's a couple of things you can look for. One is this first level here, the gap fill, which we did. We filled that gap, went up a little bit. Not real confirmation above 20-day, and we've lost ground just about every day. But this trend line here, and right at this support line, that was a nice retest. I like it. Look, we're hitting, entering this gap here from earnings. I like that trend line touch. I like it. Here is BTI. This is British American Tobacco. For an overvalued, here, let me get rid of Bollinger Bands here. For an overvalued stock, this is exactly what I want to see. I want valuation on the rise. I know with Palantir, it's just almost just a flat line. Not very lively. It's starting to tick up a little bit now. But this is what I really like to see. It's a tobacco company, so I don't know how you feel about tobacco, but I mean, there's not much forecasted data here, or at least enough to get me excited. Earnings per share on the decline. I'm just going to play the momentum here, and it looks like around the 20-day EMA or just below it. Maybe look at the 40-day. I'm just curious if this is touching the 40. So, yeah, this is more of a 40-day stock. You see around the 40-day each time. Come on, no. I think I've got too many programs running on my computer. All right. But I like that stock. I like it. It's a nice, steady Eddie stock. See here. Here's Lockheed Martin. Look at the valuation on Lockheed Martin. Kind of all over the place. It was jumped up. It's moving more than the stock price, actually. It's kind of weird. And as far as the stock price, it is about where it was 6 months ago. Let's look at a year. No, I can't get that excited. And we've seen with the defense stocks, it's a lot of the smaller, a lot of these upcoming defense companies that are getting the attention right now, that are stealing the momentum. We got a breakout. I mean, we just hit a new low here. I can't get too excited by this. And even the forecasted data, just nothing there that says, hey, I should go out and buy me some Lockheed Martin right now. Now, here's Ethereum. You can see Ethereum selling off here a little bit today. I'm not going to say I'm shocked by that. I mean, look at the run it's had, right? It's had a huge run here. It's got to take a breather. I don't think Ethereum is done by any means. Let's see where this is at. Probably find some support right in here, if I had to guess. Maybe not in the short term, but if you're looking for a good entry price and you got some patience here, I would not be surprised to see ETHA get back down about $31 again and retest this. That's the retest I want to see. Here's ETHE again, same scenario here. So I'm going to put the retest right about here. Same thing. We'll see what happens, but we got a big down day today, so I'm not going to say buy it today. Let's get closer to this 8-day. Let's get close to this, but I have a feeling we're probably going to retest this. We'll see what happens. Here is Van X Gold Miners GDX, and it looks like we might be getting a little breakout here. Maybe not today. We'll see how the session finishes. But look at these accumulation points on this 8-day. You see the 8-day here, the green line accumulation. Look at that. Nice touch on it again. But yeah, by about 58.80, if we can get above that, hit a new high, we get a nice little breakout there. Again, this is Van Eck Gold Miners. We see RT picking up steam here, trending higher and higher. trending higher highs and higher lows. Not a bad play to be in. Alex says, I'm holding the 3-time leverage GDXU. Okay. Not bad. Not a bad play. Like I said, I've been feeling gold, and I think gold is still going to do good. Yeah, if you want to leverage it, hey. Here we got KRE. It's got the uptrend here. Not the prettiest stock chart over the last year. Let's go to 6-month chart. Looks a lot better. I got some resistance coming in here around 65.42. Down day to day. Can't get too excited by it. Let's just get price action staying above that 20-day EMA. Now, this is the sector financial ETF here. So it depends how you feel about finances. Roger says, Ryan, are you attending the Las Vegas event next month? Yes, Roger, I will be attending Vegas. I just found that out a few weeks ago. Just got my plane ticket, and I will be out there. So hopefully you'll be out there too, Roger. We'll go have a drink together. I've never been to Vegas before, so if you guys want to cause some trouble in Vegas, hey, I'm not going to say I'm against it. I've never been to Vegas before. I guess I do enough gambling in the stock market. I didn't need to fly to Nevada to gamble my money. Right? Looks like a RT crossover today on the VectorVest composite. You talking about the RT kicker combo layout? Oh, on the upside, yes. We talked about that yesterday on the daily color guard report. Warren, I don't know if you watched that. I've been talking about the GLB RT kicker combo lately with those moving averages. Okay, yeah, we'll take a look at that in the daily color guard report. But I'm glad you updated me on that. That crossover did occur. I had a feeling because it was like 0.99 and I think like just 1 was the ratings yesterday. But again, NVDO. Nice retest on that 20-day EMA. And it looks like, the 20-day EMA, if you're going to be a buyer, that's where I'd like to buy it when price action dips to it, right? Now, NVIDIA does have earnings coming up in about 2 weeks. So if I had to guess, I think earnings or NVIDIA is probably going to march higher going into earnings. It typically does. Here's the yield max on NVIDIA. Down today, 2 days in a row. I mean, if I look at NVIDIA, it went from NVIDIA's double leverage, went from $30 to $90, so it's pretty much tripled, right? And if I look at this yield max going from $12 to $16, it's not tripled. And I don't know what dividend you're getting, but I like the double leverage. I've said it before, I'm not a big yield max person, but that's just me personally. But as far as NVIDIA, I'm going to be bullish on NVIDIA. But you can see NVIDIA drops a little bit here 2 days. Well, actually went up yesterday. But the ETF gapped down. So it does have a weird movement when it comes to NVIDIA. Now here's the Van X semiconductor. This is a little bit of weakness we saw on the semiconductors, but still rocking and rolling. It still looks good. Semiconductor is still above the 20-day EMA. That rally is intact. Here we've got NEG. So, all right, so we want to talk about NEG, right? A couple people mentioned NEG. So this is my trend line here. Broke above the trend line. I've got a short at 107. So this is what I'm kind of concerned about. I don't want the close today to be above this trend line. I need this to be below this trend line. We need to break this trend line. I don't want momentum. I don't want the little bulls, little Reddit people getting all excited because they see price action stay above this trend line and try to, blow me out of my short. So that's kind of what I'm looking at for NEG here. So if you're playing around with NEG, look around this $100 mark because this is where this trend line is coming in here. I want to get a close below that trend line. I'm well below it because, again, I'm being bearish on it, right? Inflation keeps going higher, so will gold. Yeah, and I think the interest rate cuts will also help gold, right? Roger, yeah, we'll be there. So hopefully you'll be there too, Roger. Again, if you want to check out Vegas, it's next month. All the details, just go to vectorvest.com/Vegas. And right now it's on sale. I think it's just like $95. I mean, that doesn't even cover the cost of food out there in Vegas for 2 days. So if you want to come check it out, we've got a lot of heavy hitters there. We've got Steve Chappell. Jerry D'Ambrosio will be out there. Ray Clark will be out there. Myself again. So come check us out. We got Ron Wheeler as well, I believe, will be out there. So definitely check that out. Again, that's VectorVest.com/Vegas. Now here we got Wolf. I like Wolf. Look at that. Overvalued, but the momentum is there with the stock here. It's $9 right now. Hitting a new high. Again, a lot of momentum here. This is $5. Now it's almost doubled just in 2 trading sessions. So be careful. Sales growth rate, 34%. Let's be honest. We're not going to listen to that forecasted data. This is a momentum play. Be careful because look at, we're on the Bollinger Band here. We typically like to get back away from Bollinger Band. If I had to guess, what is it? 3 o'clock. We might get a lower open on Monday and get away from that Bollinger Band. But the upper band here of the standard deviation of 1 still coming around 663. So it's definitely would be my cutoff. But I wouldn't even want to give up that much room. I would say take out today's lower wick. But again, you got to have your own risk tolerance for this. This is going to be a high flying stock here. But my only warning is that we're just at this upper Bollinger Band here. So typically it likes to pull back a little bit. NVDY ex dividend today, I think 83 cents a share. And what is it trading at? It's less than 10%. I don't know. I think I'd rather just leverage my NVIDIA long. But NVDY, I get it. But just when you get pullbacks, be careful because look what this has done. Went from $30 downwards to 15. So your initial investment would have been cut in half if you bought it up at the top here. That's why I don't know. I'm just not a big yield max person, so just be careful with those. All right, let's get back down here. Where were we? We had Neg, we had Wolf. We got Applied Digital. All right, it lost the fast lane. So just be careful. Dividend is listed at like 80%. Yeah, so it's a lot of volatility. That's crazy. 80% dividend. But Applied Digital, again, losing that momentum to the upside. Just be careful. The bear's starting to come in here. Lost the fast lane. We're now below that Bollinger Band. So get a little bit more defensive there. Here's Intel. Look at Intel showing a lot of momentum to the upside. Ever since they're talking about firing the CEO, what was it, the Trump administration, or Trump, I should say, was talking about he should be fired. Maybe investors like that idea, to be honest, because ever since he started talking about it, the stock's shooting up here. So we'll see. Indecision today. Did break out. Got a little high. Did we get a breakout? No, we're just approaching these prior swing highs here. But nice move altogether. I mean, the stock's up 25% in a week here. But again, pretty news driven. Also government investing in Intel. Oh, that's why it's going. Well, I mean, I'm not surprised by that. They are our largest domestic fab. I mean, obviously the oldest fab maker in the United States. If they want to stay on top and not let Taiwan be in charge or be the top dog when it comes to semiconductor manufacturing, the government might need to make some investments in Intel. But even just the cost, again, that's why AMD and NVIDIA were slow to do manufacturing here, right? They've already said that their chips are going to cost, I think, AMD said maybe 30% more to have them manufactured domestically. But I do get the point, can't have all our advanced semiconductor chips made in China's backyard. So, you got to weigh out the pros and cons of that situation, right? Intel, they are in an interesting situation. But again, government investing, and again, the Trump administration talking about, CEO should step down. Those news items are getting the investors excited about the stock again. So, hey, I'm not mad at it. I got nothing against Intel. Even though I'm team AMD, I got nothing against Intel. Here's DED, 3D Systems. Look at this, showing some optimism here. It's in the fast lane. Now, if you thought you missed out, so again, this is what I was talking about, that Bollinger Band. When it gets to these higher Bollinger Bands here, this was it the standard deviation of 3. Get a little overextended. We get the pullback here, right? So if I'm going to trade set this up, what's the upper band at 204? Yeah, so if I place my trade, again, I don't like to trade on a Friday afternoon just because, weekends these days. But come Monday, right? Say come Monday, if price action's above this upper band, and if you want the confirmation, you can take out the high at 215. It's only 6 cents away. That could be a nice little pivot back to the upside here. I put Triple D on your radar. See what happens Monday. This could be worth a trade here, right? And, just set your stop right around that upper Bollinger Band here. But that is not looking too bad at all. I like that. I could show some potential next week. We'll see what happens. All right, everybody. It's been quite the power hour here. We did, 41 stocks, something like that. Insane. All right, we got to head out, though, because we are going to get ready for the Daily Color Guard report in the community room. So check us back out. We'll be there at 3:55. Look out for the alert, and I'll see you guys in just a little bit. Everyone have a great weekend, and I'll see you later. Bye.